All right, let's go.
What's up? Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
It's
Uh,
beautiful here, by the way. Like the weather is great here.
I
So,
know, completely decided to change its mind and do
yeah.
something. I actually saw bees outside today.
Yep. Yep. The baby saw one too. I was like, already?
What
We're
is
doing this
happening?
already? Immediately? So,
Um, yeah, this one's a little special for me, I guess, because I rail so hard for pause. Uh
uh, already?
yeah, I guess.
Hold on. There you go.
um for women's sports, because I just think that women's sports is special, and to see so many uh women like dropping out, or just it's too much for them or whatever, is and you see it everywhere. It's not like I waited a long time to make this video. You see it everywhere. It's not in one sport.
hmm
Right now, prevalently it's in CrossFit. But, I mean, you've seen it in tennis, you've seen it in basketball, you've seen it, you know, across all spectrums with young kids, especially young women dropping out of sports. And the 3 things that I think that I saw that are the I don't know, the buttons to push the most were, like, handlers versus parents, your high school coach or a coach you grew up with
hmm
versus a coach that you were sent to.
mm
And then team sports versus individual sports. Like, so if you're a young kid doing an individual sport versus doing like a team sport,
hmm
it's a little bit different.
Right.
Um, I kind of want to go to a coach that you grew up with and a coach that you were passed along
hmm
to. And if you're worried about my credentials come in later. Um, but I grew up when AAU was kind of first starting to be big, right? You had and one.
mm
And one was huge. But AAU at that time, and I'm talking about the 90s, like AAU wasn't as big as it is now.
hmm
Uh So it was definitely different. It's basically comparable to when you do super teams in CrossFit. So like AAU sports was the best kids that you had to play with during, like, with the surrounding 3 high schools that you had. You put them all together, you put an AAU team together, and then you went and played.
mm
And it's the same thing. It's comparable to what CrossFit's doing at this point.
hmm
Um, and so it had just started when I came into it. There was no there was no way to get money for promotions or sponsors or whatever. There was no it wasn't like that. It was just everybody was kind of trying to come up. Like, brands were trying to come up, uh kids were just trying to get seen.
hmm
And so there was a very big difference between playing AAU sports.
What's up, Jody?
Jody Lynn, thank you for popping up. And oh, wait, hold on. VIP, Jake Chapman. What now? My wife competed at London. My wife competed at London 2012 in synchronized swimming. Was the last remaining women's only sport left. Changing soon to include males. Yeah, yeah, you're not wrong. We're in interesting times.
hmm
Um, again, why I'm very this is something that is near and dear to my heart. Um, but AU was different at that point. It was just
Was it only the high schools that were close to each other?
yeah, pretty
Oh,
much.
okay.
And it was your high school coach that coached.
So, like, they would come to one high school,
Yeah,
and all
yeah,
kids from all different high schools would come to one high school. They would train, you'd be on the same team, and then you would travel to other AAU high schools or teams and
Well,
compete that
like
way?
somebody would put on an AAU competition, you would go, you would, compete there,
Mhm.
play against other teams or whatever. But when I started, it was just, your best players from your high school, the surrounding high school that you had.
Mhm.
It wasn't it wasn't like now where you can, you know, pay kids
Move
or have
somewhere.
kids and go somewhere, whatever. It was just starting. That
Mhm.
was the time where it was just starting to do that. So y- your high school coach versus your AAU coach, right? Like when I came up, it was just my AAU coach was my high school coach, and he was a guy that had known me forever.
Mhm.
He literally recruited me out of 7th grade and then had me come play high school basketball in 8th grade, and he knew my grandparents, he knew where I came from, he knew my story, he knew everything.
Mhm.
So it was, and I was playing with my friends, right? So I was playing with my friends all day. He knew me, and if I had any problems, like he could visually see if there was something wrong with me
Yeah.
and come talk to me about it and come whatever, because he watched me grow up. I
Mhm.
feel like that's the point I'm trying to make.
So you felt like it was a positive for your particular career experience to have a coach that knew you very well
Yeah,
and knew you from
a very young
a very
age.
young age, um and you felt like it was important and monumental
Yeah.
to
Yeah, I think that's a big thing when your coach knows you and your coach has seen you. Like what how how old are you when you're in 7th grade? When you're in 7th grade, you're like 12,
Mhm.
13 years old. He saw me at 12, 13, recruited me. I've started playing basketball at, you know, I I played varsity basketball in 8th grade. Jethro, yo, what's up?
Jethro. Jethro, what's up? What's up?
So it definitely was like a major, 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 thing
Mhm.
to have someone that knows you, to have someone, sorry, that can look at you and know what you're feeling, what you're thinking, knows your parents, knows where you came from, knows where you grew up in, what cycle of life you grew up. It's just different than when you're sent to an AAU team,
Mhm.
that it's just like that's kind of the thing. You're the best of the best,
Yeah.
and you go to that AAU team,
Right.
and that coach has no idea who you are,
Mm.
right? Like they they've never met your parents, and if they have, they met them that day,
Mhm.
or they met them when they called and said, "Hey, do you want to come to these tryouts?"
Mhm.
It wasn't where the internet helped. There was no internet.
Mm.
If you wanted the kid to play for you, then you had to talk to the parents.
You had to scout it out. You had to go old school where you literally
You
had to
had
go to the high schools to find your team. You had to, like you said, you had to communicate with the parents. You had to have
Yep,
conversations with their homeschool coach.
yep,
And listen, I'm interested in, I think that this girl, it would be a great addition to the AAU team. Here's why. Would it be possible? Can she travel and have all those conversations of like, because once you get into AAU, that's
I don't know, you wanna try it?
sure.
Let's try it. What am I doing right now? Let's see who it is. What's up? Can I
Is
help
this
you?
thing on?
Yeah, it's on.
Hey, it's Jet.
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on?
Jethro.
He wanted to be our first caller.
Thank you,
Hey, am
bro.
I the first caller?
Official. Well, no, second, I guess.
We've called out, but we've never
Yep.
had anybody call in.
Yep.
Oh, I'm so honored.
Yes, yes. Well, first off, how are you feeling from 21 or 24.1?
Pretty good. Just I still have a weird like Fran lung cough throat thing going on.
Yeah.
I'm still like clearing my throat, but yeah, it was good. I did it Thursday night. I wasn't really ready to do it because I was working. But
Right.
yeah, it's all good. How you guys doing? You guys training? You still doing the boxing? What's going on?
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
are. Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, we haven't
So
put
you
up.
didn't do 24/1.
Not yet. We're gonna do it this week. We're not like in the open, but we're still gonna do the open workouts. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna fail miserably, and my wife will probably
I don't know. I've
get
heard
close.
from a lot of people. I mean, obviously you watch the elites and you're just your mind is blown on how incredible and how fast and, precise that they are. But some of my old CrossFit clients that I worked with, I just checked in and, how are you feeling or whatever. And they have given me some pretty brutal feedback. And so I'm like, I remember those days when you look at a workout and you're like, oh, this is really going to hurt. So when did it start to hurt for you?
My problem was I usually am pretty fast with the burpees, but I decided to go easy on them, which brought me to lower myself instead of just dropping to the floor. So I put a lot of like taxing on my arms for like support.
Mm,
And I think in the second part of the 15 of the snatches, my arms got really fatigued. And I
gotcha.
was going up against someone on Thursday night who's a pretty fit member, and she was kind of just going unbroken on everything. So I had her peeking out of the corner of my eye.
Hmm.
I just wanted to stay with her in the lead lap, which I pretty much did. When she was on a snatch, I was on the snatch, but I was like the whole round behind.
Mm,
So yeah,
Yeah.
it was just the burpees going down and getting back up. But I think I finished in 12:21. Not too bad. I finished. That was the goal.
congrats.
But yeah, I think anyone who has somewhat of a decent capacity and is a little bit on the stronger side to just get the dumbbell snatches going, you should be fine.
Yeah.
I was curious what you kind of told your members, because when people started calling Colleen for advice, they definitely were like, "Oh, well, Jeffrey Adler did it in this amount of time. So if I just double that, that'll be my time."
Which
So,
is weird because usually those type of like end the end of the elites, I usually am twice as slow. That's usually what happens with me. So I
Hmm.
knew I was going to finish about 11:30, 12 minutes. Ended up being 12:21, which is fine. But I just told everyone they have to just keep moving for this one,
Right.
because if you just keep moving, you're not, the clock's just running and you're not getting going to gain anything. Burpees are something that you're doing the rep if you're going slow. If you're going slow, you're still doing the movement as like a burpee box jump. Burpee box jump, as long as you keep moving, the time is going to kind of like be on your side. If you
Right.
stop, the time's not on your side.
yeah.
Right. So you, because of the choice that you chose to step down, do the step down burpees.
I did a step down and step up. So I should have just gone down and then stepped up.
Yeah.
That would have worked a little better. I would have done sub 12, maybe 11:30. There was another factor. I'm not going to talk about it here that kind of like messed me up. It had to do with with what was going on. So that took like a bunch of seconds off.
Hmm.
But I'm pretty happy. I'm not a 2 or 3 redo person. I'm just a one and done person now. We have a little in-house competition going, so I just want to, get that going, validate some scores, redo other people's workouts and judge them. So that's what I'm more concerned about.
Okay. And one question before, we let you go or whatever. The Athena thing, she definitely said that it's a race against yourself, right? If you look at it like a race against other people, for those of us that don't have that level of fitness that you do, and the members that you have, for those of us that are just trying not to be super anxious about it, what do you tell those members? Like, is it that, like, it's just a race against yourself?
It's good for me considering that I'm coaching the majority of the classes. I know every single member inside and out. So I can articulate to them exactly what they should be doing. The goal is to finish the workout, and the
Hmm.
goal is to get it under the cap, just to have that sense. So If it literally takes that you have to do a lighter weight and you have to do some type of like scale burpee, that's fine. I just want everyone to finish, because if you don't finish, the goal would be, the reps. The reps, great, but the accomplishment of just getting it done and under that 15-minute cap is gonna really resonate to you. So I did call to talk about AAU. I don't know if you guys are still
No,
want to
go
talk
for
about
it.
that
I was gonna
subject.
say you're a coach that actually knows what every single one of his members needs. Like, kudos
Well,
to you.
before we jump into the AAU, I just what why was it more I don't even know if important is the right word, but why was your message more of finishing the workout no matter if you have to scale, versus some people going in the open and saying, I just want to push the RX button, so I'm going to do, I'm going to fight for the 35-pound dumbbell and only make it through 21 snatches, like just make it through the first 21 snatches in 15 minutes. Like, why wouldn't you push that message versus finishing when it comes to your members?
So that's a good question, Colleen. So what I did is I looked at it twofold. I was referring to those newer members who have just started CrossFit, because we have a bunch of those. So those members, I concentrated on finishing. I do have borderline RX and scale members. So I took those members and said, listen, you're going to have to go to the heavier side and go RX. I had about 3 or 4 of them that went RX when they are borderline RX scale, and push them to their limit. And since of course I know their capacity of what they can do, I kind of had a plan for them. They finished it. And the 3 or 4 of them that I did push that are borderline RX scaled athletes, they finished between 14 and 15 minutes. So the mission was accomplished.
That's awesome.
I was referring just to those newer members, because we do have a good number of them that they would have taken away a little bit more of a pride to finish the workout under the 15 minutes. And, as we grow as a membership and as a gym, we're going to be able to continue the journey and get them done. I had a member, Victoria, today. She was a little bit short. She was like 4 reps short of finishing. She's someone who just started CrossFit when we opened.
That's
And
cool.
she's been determined, and she's been doing very, very well. She came back in today. She redid it, and she finished with time to spare. And
Wow.
it was really, really good experience to have her do it. And she has drank the CrossFit
Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
no
yeah,
other.
yeah.
She's in.
Yep,
She's
that's it.
in.
So she did a great job, and she's someone that I would say, yeah, listen, you got to redo it and you got to finish, because there's a couple of things that I saw that could help you out, and she did, and she's really happy about it.
And
That's
I just
awesome.
love that. I think that that's a testament to you as a coach. I think
Yep.
it's a testament to you paying attention to your people. I also think that by knowing your people, Garrett and I have talked about this on other shows, being a coach, you know what each member needs. And it's important as a coach that you know what each member needs, and you know how you can push this one versus how you can push this one, so that everybody walks away feeling like they have accomplished their goal,
Yep.
their specific goal on what they're trying to reach. So I love hearing that it is very individual, even though it's a group setting when it comes to the open and classes, very being that individual that's like, hey, let's do this. We're going to do this. We're going to push this way. And we'll do that. So, well, congratulations to you on, and you and your crew for 24.1.
Yeah, thanks. It's over delivering as well for your members. I think that just like in the phys ed world, a lot of people tend to think like the phys ed teachers, they roll out the balls and say, okay, this is what we're doing. I like to over deliver for my members as best as possible. If it takes a little bit of thought into each day. I wake up in the morning. I wake up 4:15 every day. I check the schedule, and I know this person's doing this and that person's doing that. So it does help. They're paying for the coaching. They're paying for the experience, and that's what I'm trying to provide.
That's awesome. CrossFit Chief Nation.
Yep. All right, go ahead.
Yeah,
Talk
go.
about AAU.
Hey, you. What's up?
AAU.
Yeah, go.
So I came from Brooklyn, and I moved to Long Island. And my first day at school, I was standing around and I saw these kids playing lacrosse, and they had doing the wall ball stuff, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" I had never seen a lacrosse stick before. I never saw a ball bounce like that before. Like, oh, this is lacrosse, and I was like, "Yeah, I've never seen this before." Super athletic sport. The majority of the country does know about it now, but not like 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I've been out of high school 32 years now.
Don't talk about that.
So
Let's not go there. My birthday's coming up.
Yeah,
Let's not
crazy.
do that. No.
I know, my bad. But fast forward to today. I do work for an organization that has the largest lacrosse program in the country. We have over 20,000 kids.
Wow.
Long Island. We support the entire Long Island youth spring season.
Super cool.
So I've seen the landscape of AAU. And when I say AAU, we're talking more basketball, but I'm talking about all sports: lacrosse, hockey, basketball.
Football. Yeah.
It's football. It's taken on a whole new level, and I talk about it a lot. I just had my training partner Derek. His daughter made the varsity high school team at Malvern as an 8th grader. She took the test and she passed, and she ended up playing. She actually started for the team. But it's something that someone like that, I knew right away. The first thing I said was she's going to grow up pretty quick in 3 months. Hanging out with all juniors and seniors as an 8th grader.
AAU is different now. Would you like? It's very different from when we grew up. There's
oh my goodness.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
There's money to be made. It's money.
Yeah. Back in the day, you're more versed in this, guy. When you joined the Lightning, it was the premier team to be on. And if you tried out the Lightning and you made it, everyone knew like your shit was good. Everything was tight. You had game. But now I feel like as though there's so many teams out there, and even the Lightning's watered down. Like it's just a money grab to say that I play for the Lightning, or in lacrosse I play for the number of teams that are out there. And just I heard a story that one of the Detroit Tiger coaches back in the day, a mom came up to him and said, "Listen, I would love for my son to go to your baseball camp, but we just can't afford it. But he's really, really good."
It's also how much money it's how much money your parents could pay. That was back in the day. Now it's if your kid has can generate sponsors, we'll take that kid. But back in the day, it was how much can your parents pay for you to be on this team? It absolutely was.
Right.
Yep.
And it's the inner cities, the less affluent areas, they tend to be able to have really good sports athletes, regardless of what sport it is.
Yep.
Yet they don't have the means to seek out these top tier trainers and all these other type of additional services for them. They're just honing their experience on the blacktop within their town, and it's really left for the affluent to get more of the training that I've seen, paying these outrageous prices of $3,000-$4,000 a season to play 8 games.
Yep.
To me, that's just so crazy that if we didn't do stuff like that, we were lucky if we went to a camp, but we would just play all day, every day with our friends.
Yeah.
The AAU route, there is a benefit. I do get it, but it's few and far between.
And if you went to a camp, your parents paid like $500 for it, and back then that was like paying $3,000-$4,000 for it. And I don't know how to explain it. It was just like you could get your kid's foot in the door. It wasn't an invitation. You know what I mean? That difference is real. And I appreciate you for putting that out there, because there are kids in different, socioeconomic places that, they probably deserve to go, but won't. Or now they will because there's sponsors that will send them. So it's just different. Back then we were just getting sponsors.
Yeah, that landscape is crazy to me, the sponsorship, because that's something that's pretty new. I never knew of kids getting sponsors to go places, but that is a really, really good option. And it's great that they're able to do that. Hopefully there's more stuff like that, especially in my organization. If we've never turned down a kid due to their economic status. If we had the hardship they just articulate to us in a message or an email or a letter or something like that, and we take them on. So that's something that that we try on our end as the police department in Nassau County is everyone plays. And if you could afford it, great. If not, then we will make a change for our program for that. So
Do
we're
you
trying.
do you feel like that these kids, because these are AAU is high school, right, Bib?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you
Amateur athletics.
okay, do you feel that adding sponsorship pressure is better for these kids versus just donations, meaning that people could donate to help quote unquote sponsor a kid, a family to help get them into AAU, meet the trainers, really good athlete, but getting bigger sponsors puts more pressure on these kids. And I know, babe, that kind of the question that you're asking today is what is happening to our young girls in sports or whatever. Do you feel like that the younger they are with such big sponsors makes a difference, good or bad?
I think that with the landscape that has changed of multiple sports growing up, now you are putting in a corner of one sport for sponsorship. What's the rub? Are they looking for that sponsorship to commit to a school? Are they looking for that sponsorship to get the name out for their company? I think it varies per person. I know you guys might even know there's a lacrosse player on Long Island. Uh, it is the name escapes me, but he was highly, highly touted, and he went to Syracuse just recently. And Spallina,
Yeah,
he's from
yeah.
Rocky Point,
Yep.
and so ever since he was like in seventh grade, it was something like he's going to be the next great lacrosse player.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of pressure, and I'm sure the sponsors were knocking on his door, even though he was in middle school. And that happens all the time. So what is the family, what are they obliged to do as they're going through their recruiting process if they're even sponsored for like a high level, 5-star camp or something like that?
Yeah.
Are they going to have to sign and commit? Is it a backdoor deal? Is it something like, listen, wink, wink, you're going to be going to this school and you're going to be signing with our brand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you can stay on if you want to. We can keep going about this because my next point and the topic that I was going to bring up is when did it happen that like we now have handlers for kids, right? We have handlers for high school kids and semi college kids or whatever that are taking care of them. When did it happen that parents weren't the handlers? Like somewhere along the line, because I know if you wanted to get to me, if you wanted to recruit me, I know friends of mine that if you wanted to recruit them, you had to go to their parents. And there was no back door for that. Like you couldn't just go on IG and DM somebody and just start a relationship. You had to go through the parents, and the parents made decisions amongst themselves, and then they talked to kids and whatever. But somewhere along the line, parents stopped being the gateway to the kid. And that to
I think
me,
I think the people who are the recruiters and the people that were handling the kids now, I think they really practiced and learned how to do it, how to be able to manipulate and get the parents on board to just listen to them and give them the idea of, yeah, we're going to get this for you, we're going to get that for you. It's high stakes now, and we had a lot of documentaries on it and stuff like that that you can watch on ESPN and the 30 for 30s and Netflix and
yeah,
stuff like that. It's the stakes are super duper high, and it's a moneymaker now. Now with the
yeah,
what's it called,
the NIL,
the identity that you can have. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, the
So
NIL,
even name likeness image. Is that what it is?
yeah, name like,
Image
yeah,
likeness.
name, image, likeness, so that if your
Yeah,
name is on the back of a jersey, then you get paid for it. So what Johnny Manziel got in trouble for however long ago, like they're not getting in trouble for that anymore.
yeah. So it's crazy what we're doing, but I also think this is a problem. the parents want to be a part of it and they want their kids to succeed so they could be that parent that has that kid.
Yep.
Because we have, the organization I work for, we get basic uniforms. And the parents are the ones that want to get the $80 uniforms, and we're providing $30 uniforms. They want the sublimated
Or the
look.
matching
They want the
sneakers.
fancy equipment, the matching sneakers. Yeah, I was working yesterday at the academy, and the team, this is just a PAL team. This is just a Saturday afternoon. They all had matching sneakers, low top, these orange Nikes. And I was like, whoa, they weren't even that good, but they all had matching sneakers. And I know the kids liked it, but I'm sure the parents loved it.
Yeah.
The top with the names on it. And, the parents are just to blame. They want their kids to look the part, and that's fine. Like I always say, you can always let the parents pay for the kids. If you want to pay $4,000 for your kid to get a jumpsuit and play 6 or 8 games in the summer, great. There's a market for it. Go right ahead and do it. But there should be viable options that are competitive for the young athlete to get their skills ready for the next level. So if you want to create something like that, great. It'd be awesome. But it's going to be tough to, compete with those other teams that want to snatch up those kids bright and early.
Jethro, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
There's a lot to talk about. I really do. Call anytime.
Call anytime.
Yeah,
Jet.
anytime, bro.
Anytime.
Appreciate you.
I sure will. Absolutely.
All right, man.
All right, ladies. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
I really like that because it brings context to the fact that, and it's something that I really want to talk about, like your kid now, there's no buffer. And so now if you have parents that definitely, you already were in trouble if you had parents that wanted to do that, right? Like he said, like they wanted to dress them up, have the matching sneakers, blah, blah, blah. Now, even if you don't, and you're that parent that doesn't, and you're that parent that wants to be the buffer, you can't even be because everybody has access to your kids. You can have any handler IG message your kid or whatever and just be like, hey, I can do this for you. Hey, I can make it's. You took the parents out of the conversation. And it's another way to do that. And it just, for me.
I also think that parents are just different now than they were. I feel like the way that you talk about how,
my grandfather was at every game. My grandfather was at, I didn't just get sent to camp.
Right.
And my grandparents weren't there.
Right. And it wasn't, it just always felt like it was different because your grandfather was still parenting you. He still was there. There wasn't this feeling of
every letter,
like lost youth that he had.
Every letter that was sent to me, he opened and then told me.
Right.
If I had to practice, he was outside like catching if I was pitching, playing softball, or he was out there rebounding for me if I was trying to shoot foul shots or what.
So he was
involved in everything. Like,
but do you feel like that he ever overstepped and tried to live vicariously through you?
No.
Because from what Jet was saying of this idea of these parents wanting to be the big and the flashy and doing all of these things, the first thing that came to mind for me is this whole idea about some parents try to live vicariously through their children.
Yeah, absolutely.
For what they didn't get to do instead of just supporting them and being that parent, and like your grandfather being involved in everything and asking the questions and understanding this. And you're talking to, like, he always, from what you share, is that he was like, talk to me. Yeah. You need to talk to me and then I will speak to her. Like, it wasn't this whole thing of like, I'm going to speak to your kid.
But yeah, Jody Lynn, you're right. Easy access to kids is so scary. Even the most involved parents can get caught off guard. Yeah, you're
100%.
100%.
And we can only do the best that we can. And the best that we can is not giving our kids access to the internet as fast as we do.
But the parents, for for me, and the parents stop being the handlers.
Mm.
Like, if you look at Serena and Venus Williams,
Mhm.
their dad was their manager for freaking ever until they were adults, and they were like way beyond adults, not 18, 19. They were in
Right.
their 20s,
Right.
and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna have our own manager," and that's fine for me.
Mhm.
Like, okay, you're in your 20s, you're doing your thing, you have a million sponsors, blah blah blah. Get rid of your, but to have parents not be involved when kids are like from like parents not being gatekeepers from the age of like 13, or from when they're born to when they're in their 20s and they actually know what they want to do.
Right.
Like, that to me is just, it's weird and it's gross, and people that want to sidestep parents, like, I don't have it in me for you.
Yeah, because these handlers that are not your parents, it's almost like you're signing over rights. They
Yeah.
get to sign things for you. They get to make decisions for you. That's a parent's job.
I went off. I had so many basketball camps in my early teens in North Carolina. I went to UNC.
Bye, Jet. Thank you for calling in.
Thank
Meant
you,
a lot,
Jethro.
man.
Appreciate you, dude.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, we do.
I had so many like camps, and I was away and whatever, and went to North Carolina. That was the big thing back then. UNC, like, North
Mhm.
Carolina, they were the best men's basketball team. They were the best women's basketball team. I
Mhm.
was there at camp all the time. You know what I wasn't? Alone.
Mhm.
You know who couldn't like talk to me casually without my parents there? Coaches,
Mhm.
handlers,
Mhm.
whatever I guess what you call them now would be like your,
Manager.
but yeah,
Like your
sure.
manager, yeah. Mhm.
Like, I wasn't just passed off
Yeah.
to somebody.
Yeah. And do you feel like that it's coming from this place of the monetary incentive? Like
Of course it is.
sign these kids young,
Yep.
get that income young, you
And
know.
also it has to do with how much, if you can get a young girl who's very, very popular in the social media world, and you can get her to do whatever you want,
Mhm.
you can get her to promote whatever you want, you can get her, and parents and whatnot have no, that's a lot of pressure.
And the thing is too is that a coach is a coach. A parent is a parent. It's not the same thing. As so from a coach's perspective, you're looking at the athlete, the athletic performance. What does this athlete need to do athletically to continue to be the best?
But that's what I'm
But the
saying.
thing is, yeah, but the thing is that you're trying to act like that athlete is not 15. A 15-year-old girl going through.
But did you pass that girl off to a coach that has no idea who she is?
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
You know
The
what I mean?
parent is the one that's there to help navigate fucking puberty and
My
hormones and sleep and
from
mindset and
from
safe
Fort
and all that stuff. Like
Yeah.
a coach is a coach looking at the athletic performance. A parent is the one that can look at a coach and be like, listen, my daughter needs a second. I get it. She needs to work hard. She's working hard. But from a parent's perspective, I'm here to protect my child
But
first. The child is first for a coach, the athlete is first. That's the
I think
difference.
it's a special kind of coach with a special kind of empathy and a special kind of like innate feeling of responsibility that can coach those teenage years. Because I mean, come on, let's be realistic. Like, girls in those teenage years, they just want to please. They just want to be liked. They just want to be in the social circle. They just want
They
to
don't
be,
want to let anybody down. They
yeah.
want to be, yeah, they want to
And
be seen. They want to, yep,
and
yep.
for you to be able to relate to a teenage girl, that takes a special kind of coach.
Mm-hmm.
That takes a special kind of mindset. It takes a special kind of, I don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even talk to a 25-year-old right now and pretend like I'm interested. Like,
Right.
I'm not.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'm not that person. I'm not
Right.
going to do it.
Yep.
Cuz you're annoying. I have nothing in common with you, and I don't.
Yep.
So for a coach to be able to now go coach a teenager and have that rapport with her, I feel like it's the difference between knowing that kid from when she was young and knowing how she moves and knowing how she acts and knowing her body posture and knowing her tone of voice and knowing all those nuances. That's
Mhm.
a thing.
Yeah.
It's not a that's a real thing.
It's also, I mean, and you saying that, like, the first person that comes up, and it just happens to be someone in CrossFit, is Olivia Kerstetter
Yeah.
and Jacob Hebner. So she has grown up working with him. And then as a coach, he's like, my skills are at its limit. I've given you, from a coach's perspective, what I can give you. I'm not tossing you out to somebody. I'm not saying you can never come back. What I'm saying is that if you're trying to take this to the next level, I have given you all the tools that I had. You need
Yeah.
somebody that has more skills than I do.
But also he's a watchful eye.
He's still there with her. She's there training with him all the time. That is her coach.
Because that's her person.
Right.
And that
So
that
it's possible.
takes a lot.
It's possible if you have those conversations with your young athletes, getting to the point of like, I've given you all that I can. Somebody else knows more, for you to continue to work towards being the best and reach the goals that you want to reach. I've given you all that I have. There is somebody else for you, but let's meet them together. Let's talk to them together. I'm still there for you. I still have your back.
But let's think about it. If my high school coach, obviously I've said this, he's known me since I was in 7th grade. He recruited me to play in 8th grade. So I played. He's known me since I've grown up. I get to play with all of my friends. I'm literally playing with all the girls that I grew up with. I'm driving to all of these AAU tournaments with parents and friends and all the people that I've grown up with. If I go to AAU now, and now you pass me off to an AAU team like Christ the King with the and my coach at Christ the King was Vincent Canizaro. I don't know, Jeff, can you bring up that picture for me? He was a very different type of, he did not know me. He just, hey, yeah. And late great dude, rest in peace. Like whatever. It was a good experience for me, but also it was definitely a learning experience. But you're making me go from a place where I know everybody, I'm comfortable, everybody knows who I am, how I move, how I react, to a place that nobody knows. I don't know these parents. I don't know these kids. Now I have to make friends again.
Oh, yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I have to get these girls on this team to like me.
And to trust you as a teammate.
And to want to, right.
Yeah. You're a teammate now. Like, yep.
You have to get this coach now to want to like you and to
was
want to
it-
be invested
Was it
in
possible? Was it did it ever happen where you all were on a team with other? Well, I guess it would have to be, because
we all didn't know each other.
But different schools, did you play against each other at some point? Were you guys like opponents at some point?
I never played against anybody that I
okay.
had whatever. I mean, you could have.
Yeah.
Like I had when I played just for my high school AAU team, when it was just the, like, you would call it an affiliate, the affiliate team games, whatever. When it was when that era was happening, but when it became super teams,
right?
Nah, it was just who's
super teams.
Who is the best? Who is the best person that? And now it's even further than that. Like if a New York AAU team could recruit somebody from California, they will. And then now you're driving 2 hours to go.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's just, it's not the same as if you grew up in that affiliate, or you grew up in that high school, or you grew up in that system. And now you're asking these young athletes to go basically set up another life somewhere and have another group of friends and have another group of parents and have another group of, and that's.
Did you feel like when you joined AAU that you were losing your youth?
I will speak to the fact, and I think I was lucky because I grew up I did team sports. That was my thing. It was team sports. So when I played, I was with kids my age all the time, and I could joke around, have fun, talk shit, whatever. And then I also knew how to talk to adults. And when I had to talk to adults, I could talk to adults. I feel like if you're in an individual sport and you don't have I traveled with 10 girls my own age
So they
all
kept
the
so it
time.
kept you young.
So I could just be me. And then when I had to talk to adults, I could talk to adults. If you're not, like, you take CrossFit, you take tennis, you take golf, if you're just surrounded by a group of adult athletes and a group of adult
Trainers.
uh,
There's no one you can relate to.
who are you?
So it's almost like you're growing up too fast.
Yeah.
And that's really that's kind of what I see my own personal feeling. I mean, just all around. I mean, I know we're specifically talking about sports, but I just think life in general. I think that kids are they're rushing to grow up because of society, because of the internet, because of all this shit that every part of their day, it's like, how fast can we get them to grow up? How fast can we get them to be adults? How fast can we get them out of childhood? And I think that is partial the problem with some of these young girls that experience burnout or step away. I mean, my sports were, I grew up playing soccer. When I got to high school, because I got a new coach, so I dipped away because I didn't like that new coach and the atmosphere or whatever. But I was competitive dancer, and because once you get in a competitive sport, an elite sport, all of your time and energy is there. And if you don't have, like you were sharing, if you don't have those girls, yeah, I had girls my own age, so I was able to kind of keep my youth and whatever. But if you don't have those groups and those girls that are going to keep you young, you're expected to grow up, all the pressure, all the attention, all of this type of stuff, being able to that's why I always wonder, and why I asked Jet, where do we feel like these big sponsors coming in to support families that cannot afford to give their children the type of training or joining something like the AAU and that kind of stuff? Is it good for them to have that type of pressure from a big sponsorship? Or is it better to try to have some sort of community donation where you have families that can donate to, or companies or businesses or whatever you want to ask for, and have those be donated into the AAU sport to be able to sponsor kids without the pressure or something like that?
The AAU sport could sponsor whoever they want to. They have enough money at this point, that they could sponsor whoever they want to. It has nothing to do with that. It's so big now, and so that's why I'm watching these other sports do the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, whatever sponsors can get a hold of your kids, and now that they can get a hold of your kids easier, they're gonna do it, and they're gonna manipulate your kid. I don't have anything else other to say about that. Who is your kid confiding in? And if your kid is not confiding in you and is not running to tell you the things, and they have trust in people that they've only known for 5 minutes on Instagram, it's dangerous.
And it's
very dangerous.
It's the societal pressure of parenting too. And this whole idea that a helicopter parent is a bad parent. I don't think it's bad. I think that it's our job as parents and our responsibility as parents to protect our kids the best way that we can.
Yeah.
In every aspect that we can. We do the best that we can.
For sure.
Like there's
no playbook.
No, there's no playbook.
Absolutely not. And everything's changed. The landscape's changed.
And I feel like it changes consistently.
When I grew up, there was no way to circumvent the parent.
Right.
Now there's a way to circumvent the parent.
Right. Yep. We do the best that we can, and it's our responsibility as parents to be those, to protect our kids and to have conversations. Okay, fine. You think my kid is great and you want to sponsor my kid.
You still have to talk to me first.
You still have to talk to me first. And why is my 15-year-old, 16-year-old signing legal papers giving permission to a sponsor without me?
Right. No.
Without me. I want to know all the things. I want to ask a lawyer to read it to me. I want to understand what the responsibilities are. I want to understand what you're trying to ask of my child. It's me. You're talking to me.
Yeah.
And then once I get the information, then I can decide and speak to my child from a parent to a child conversation and decide if this is something that is worth it.
It's weird. That's why I sit back, I think sometimes, and I'm watching, I've been watching for a minute. I've been watching these young girls. You see them, and a lot of them aren't talking about it until they're older,
Mm-hmm.
about why they got out and why it wasn't a thing, and we're seeing it at a faster clip now, almost a little bit, and you have to,
Mm-hmm.
it's, I don't know.
I would rather my kid be mad at me
Yeah.
because I'm
Yes.
too involved.
Yeah.
And forgive and be mad at me now, but forgive and understand me later as to why,
Yeah.
than for me to step away because my kid is pissed off at me because I'm one of those parents that I need to know what's going on, and I will know what's going on. And he will not have access to all this stuff, and he will not be allowed to do certain things, and no means no, and all of those things or whatever. I would rather him be mad at me now and understand later and
Yeah.
thank me later and forgive me later than be that parent that just kind of throws my hands up and is like, hey, my kid needs, or also the pressure too about you here that parents use their children to make up for the mistakes that they made or to get them out of something. That's pressure too.
Judy, what's up? Judy Reed, nowadays an involved parent is labeled as a helicopter parent. Yeah. And
100%.
no, yeah, you're right. We just care.
Listen, I'll wear the propeller on my head. I'll forever be a helicopter parent and not feel bad about it. I mean, I grew up in a single mother household, and she was gone all the time, and she was working all the time, and she did the best she could. But I was out there by myself a lot of times.
And
You know
I
what I
was the
mean?
exact I was the exact opposite. My
Mhm.
grandparents were on top of me all the time.
Yep.
And probably saved me from a lot of crap that
Mhm.
I didn't need to deal with.
Mhm.
So it's
And again, having opinions and saying, you and I are in a different you and I are in a situation where we are, and we're able to make choices together with our son, and these are important to us of being those parents that know everything that's going on. And it doesn't knock the families like my mom, for instance. She was a single mom doing her best raising me. I was a competitive dancer. My brother was a competitive hockey traveling star, and that cost a lot of money, and she did the best that she could. And I don't blame parents that do the best that they can. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that you still have a responsibility to be a parent in the best way that you can. And when stuff, especially when it comes to sports and all of these big things that are coming at your kids, I still believe that it's our responsibility to protect our babies.
Sports have just come away where now it's a player oriented sport. And yeah, these kids just aren't equipped at this age to do that. They're
Mhm.
not. You see it. You can see it in every sport. You got what's his face in the NBA, like looking to make $60 million a year, and he's like throwing guns up in a club and destroying that. You got, I mean, it's just it doesn't.
The logic around sports doesn't feel logical to me. Like, you give these young kids that come out of high school, some of them as young as coming out of high school, they are 18, 19 years old, some of them 17, depending on their birthday, graduating from high school, and giving them multi-million-dollar contracts and giving it to them. You're not giving it to the parents, you're giving it to them.
And saying, here, bring your family up.
Here, do what you want with this.
Yeah.
This is all you.
They don't know how to do that.
They don't know what to do with that. So then this is the stuff that you see. And also, too, this generation, younger and younger, our kids are having
A harder and harder time
harder
with
and
it.
harder time and having to take mental health breaks.
Because we're giving our kids more responsibility at a younger age.
Right.
And like stupid adult responsibilities at a younger age. What are you talking about?
You look around and there's adults that can't handle the shit that we are expecting our children to handle.
Yeah.
And we wonder why so many of our kids are introverts, or why they literally hide in their rooms and they're glued to their phones and they're looking for validation and they're all like all these things and they don't talk to their parents and all these things is because the pressure is so high. And with that type of pressure, and you're not teaching how to handle said pressure and giving a space that gives them permission to lean into you and talk to you or
No,
talk.
I think I would push back and say I think it's more that people are giving opportunities for other people to start talking to their children.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
that to me is like
Yep.
the influences. They just want to talk to cool people. They just want to talk to adults that they think are cool. They just want to,
Mm-hmm.
yay,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
especially young girls,
Yep.
they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
They're gonna do it.
Yeah.
So
Too much access.
we'll revisit this another time. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
That's what I got. Appreciate you all always. Jethro, thank you. Judy,
Yep.
thank you. Jody, thank you. Jake Chapman, you are the VIP. Thank you, even though
Crowbar
you left.
Jones.
Yep.
Always there.
Jody,
Yep.
Jeffrey number 1, thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate you always.
Yep.
And we'll see y'all on the same bat time, same bat channel.
Clinton things.
I said it.
Bye.
Bye.